Welcome to VisaWatch, episode 4. Last episode I told you about a mezcal cup with no measuring line. This week, Europe got the opposite, a border that never forgets. As of this spring, every entry and exit across the Schengen zone gets logged automatically. Fingerprints, photos, timestamps. That old trick of hopping across the border and sneaking back in to reset your clock, that's over. The border now has memory storage. That's this week's VisaWatch, a few quick hits, a story, and a check-in on good guest, bad guest. Thailand, a follow-up. Quick update on the story we've been tracking. Thailand's cut from 60 days to 30 still hasn't hit the Royal Gazette. Still not law, but the list itself keeps changing shape. It grew from 54 countries up to 59, and India, which was set to lose visa access, is now expected to keep it. Same rollback, softer landing. If you've been holding your breath on this one, you better exhale now before your face turns blue. Or inhale, or just breathe. Panama. Panama's investor visa program just hit a milestone nobody was tracking. For the first time, Americans and Canadians have overtaken Colombians for the most applications. The government is aiming to grow monthly applications six-fold, from around 25 to 150. When the country running the program is explicitly trying to emulate Portugal's old golden visa, that tells you where the incentives are headed. New Zealand. New Zealand quietly reversed something it had held firm to since 2018. Foreign golden visa holders can now buy property there, starting this year. For a country that spent most of the last decade making it harder for foreigners to buy property, this is a real shift, and one that could make New Zealand a lot more competitive in a category it's mostly sat out of. So if you want to live next to Bilbo in the Shire, your dream might be coming true. The EU's new memory. Back to the cold open. The EU's entry-exit system, EES, has been fully live since April. Every new non-EU visitor gets biometrically logged on the way in and on the way out. And your rolling 90 out of 100-day Schengen allowance gets tracked automatically instead of relying on a passport stamp. Sadly, those will probably go the way of dressing up for the airplane. A passport stamp a bored border agent may or may not have looked at. If you've ever quietly stretched your Schengen stay by ducking into the UK or Croatia for the weekend, you know who you are. That math just got a lot less forgiving. Italy's golden visa. I did a study abroad program at the Lorenzo de' Medici School in Florence, Italy, Firenze. And I can tell you the Italy most Americans picture, the one with the tiramisu and the Renaissance churches, is not the one that this story's about. There are now over 15,000 Americans collecting Social Security in Italy, enough to make it the fourth most popular retirement destination for Americans in Europe. And golden visa demand for specifically Americans jumped 27% in the first quarter of this year. This is not a retirement visa. There's no pension requirement, no proof of retirement income, no minimum stay at all. It's an investment visa. Entry starts around 250,000 euros through the startup route, and Italy actually has a separate elective residency visa for people trying to qualify on passive income instead. Confusing the two is how people end up structuring their entire plan around the wrong program. And here's a detail most retirees never hear about until they start looking through Tuscany real estate listings. Italy offers a flat 7% tax rate for retirees who settle in smaller towns, less populated, in less developed regions, mostly in the south. Not Florence. Firenze! Not Firenze. Not the cities everyone pictures. Some small hill town most Americans couldn't find on a map. Part of why Italy is having a moment right now isn't because of Italy at all. It's all about Portugal and Spain tightening their own programs, which ends up pushing that money somewhere else. When a country shuts its door to golden visas, the demand doesn't stop, it just finds the next open door. If you're actually doing this, figure out early whether you're chasing the investment route or the income route, because they lead to completely different paperwork, completely different timelines, and in some cases, completely different parts of the country. Good guest, bad guest. The best part. 2 enforcement stories this week, different countries, same-ish underlying reasons. In Bali, Indonesia's Dharma Dewata Task Force has now detained over 60 foreigners for working on tourist visas, including people making a living posting content. The logic is simple. If you're posting sponsored online content, you're working. If you're working, you're not a tourist. What gets me is how many creators think immigration officials don't have Instagram. They do. If you're filming your life publicly, you're handing over your location and itinerary in real time. The other story concerns Colombia, where I am now. More than 100 people have been denied entry this year, and several were deported and named publicly on Migración Colombia's home website. Their faces, their handles, their advertisements, all for treating the country like an adult amusement park instead of a place where people actually live. I've spent 7 years here and I can tell you exactly what this does. Every guy sent home is one less person the next foreigner has to prove themselves against. One less person building the type of ill reputation that makes a Colombian grandmother assume every gringo is the same. It's great news for a city like Medellin, which has turned over a new page and is building a family-friendly environment for tourists of all types, minus a certain type that no one really wants. Different country, same idea. You're a guest wherever you land, and the account you're settling isn't just your own. That's this week's report. A border that remembers, a visa program that only sounds like retirement, and 2 reminders that being a good guest isn't optional. Rules like this shift fast and vary by nationality. Always confirm with the official consulate site or an immigration attorney before you file. See you next week.